Hello, my name is Annie and I'm here with Ridge. Today we are in the Pyro Theater and we are going to be doing a Pyro Tower assembly video for you. We're also going to be doing the Pedestal Base, so that's what we're going to start with. When you are first receiving your Pyro Tower products, the best thing to do is go ahead and take out the manual. Each product will have a manual, and check out the first few pages and make sure that all the parts on the parts list are in the package, as well as all the hardware is in the package as well. If you're missing anything, please contact us at proudpyro.com and our support team will gladly help you and send you whatever is missing from your package. All right, let's go ahead and start putting that pedestal together. I'm gonna go ahead and just read pretty much mainly from the manual so you can follow along with that. We're gonna begin with the back piece and the side piece, and we're going to insert the tabs into the corresponding slots. The pedestal base is designed for 2 people to assemble within about 15 minutes. The tab and slot design allow for the product to be assembled with very few tools. A tool you might want to have on hand is a socket wrench that has a 7/16 inch end on it. Okay, as you can see, this is where the 2 people come in handy because I'm going to hold this together, although it's very self-supporting. Ridge went ahead and put each piece into the slots designed here. You see these large slots. That's what the pieces will each fit into. And then let me see one of those tabs, Ridge. You'll have a bunch of these tabs here, and they will go into the smaller rectangle, and it'll fit on the inside, top and bottom. I can kind of show right here is the top tab, and there's the bottom. And then we're going to insert our bolt and nuts. And on the pedestal base, you're going to put your bolt through, and then on the other side, you're going to use a washer, a lock washer, and the nut. And at this point, you can finger tighten, and then go ahead at the end, tighten everything up if you need to. You're welcome to tighten it as much as possible initially, but you might want a little wiggle room before you get everything on there. And please note that the bolt goes from the outside in. So the bolt was threaded through the side panel and the tab, and then it was a washer, a lock washer, and the nut. Now Ridge is going to go to the other side, and we're going to do the same exact steps. I have a tab for you here. I'm going to go ahead and put this tab in the smaller slot right there, and he's going to slide the metal piece into the bigger slot. I can help guide it in there. And I'm just going to hold it in place for him. It's not actually necessary, it's self-supporting, but just in case anything gets knocked with a knee or an arm, I'm going to be here ready to catch it. And again, he's going to put the bolt through on the outside, through the side panel and the tab, and then he's going to put on his washers and the nut. Okay, when you finish these steps, you should see something like this. You'll have your back panels and your 2 side panels. When we finish that part, we need to then put in the shelf before you put on the front piece. To begin, you want to go ahead and put your tabs in each spot. There's a tab here in the center on each side, and then on the back there's a tab. You can then slightly rest your shelf, which Ridge is going to grab, on those tabs. It will not fully support it, so just be aware you will need to hold it a little bit until you get some of the tabs lined up with the rest of the sides. So I'm going to help him line that up. There we go. And once those tabs on the metal shelf are into the tab slot, it's pretty self-sufficient, but I'm going to put some pressure on there just until he has some bolts in there, just to make sure that nothing falls down. Again, he's going to go ahead and put the bolt in through the top, and then he's going to insert his washer, lock washer, and nut through the bottom. And please note that the shelf here, this curved shelf, this goes to the front of the tower. So that is the correct way. Some people have tried to install it backwards, but you want your bolt hole at the back, and then the protruding curved shelf goes to the front, the open side. Okay, now your piece should look like this with the shelf in there. And the next part is to attach the front panel unit. The interior shelf rests on the bottom of the front opening. So I'll show you what that looks like. When you line it up here, it doesn't look like it would match up, but you're going to pull that little curved shelf up and then insert your front panel underneath that and put the tabs from the metal in the long slots. Then again, you're going to insert your tabs here, and then you're going to insert the bolt to the side. So we have our tab and slot, and then our bolts securing it with the washers and the nut. You're going to have a tab up here, and a tab down here, and you have your larger tabs on the metal pieces on top and bottom as well. After you have already gone ahead and inserted all the tabs and the bolts on the front piece, it's a good idea if you haven't already tightened the pieces to go ahead and do that. Ridge did it as we were going through each section, which worked really well. But if you wanted a little bit more wiggle room to assemble, go ahead and do that at this point, because we're going to turn this whole piece over to put the feet on, and then we're going to turn it back over to put the tower base on there. So you want to make sure that everything's tightened before you actually turn it over so you don't have anything coming loose. This is what our feet look like. Not like feet you would think on a human, but they are feet. And the direction that the feet go is, of course, the corner matches up with the corner here. But you're going to put tabs, those shoulder tabs, right here in the smaller slot. And this square meets up with that shoulder tab. And then the shoulder tab that goes in the top on the foot actually meets up with this hole that goes on the side. Now you're going to be using different bolts for the feet than you would the rest of the assembly. You're going to use a carriage bolt that goes through the square. A carriage bolt is a dome shape on the top, and so you won't have the same structure or the same angles as you would on the hex bolt, but you're going to have a dome structure, and that goes through the top. So you put that carriage bolt straight through the top and in through the shoulder tab hole, and then you put, again, your washer, lock washer, and nut. Once the feet have been installed, go ahead and check and make sure all the hardware has been tightened so that when you turn it over and put it back on the feet, it can hold the weight and nothing comes loose. Okay, so this is the assembly of the Pyro Tower pedestal base. As you can tell, there's a big hole on the top, but we're going to assemble the Pyro Tower and have that go on top of it. Check back on our website, proudpyro.com, to get that video, because we're going to be making each one of these into separate videos for separate needs. If you have any questions or concerns about your product that you received from Proud Pyro, please go to proudpyro.com and contact our support team. Thank you.